Slap chat live. I'll be on the slap. Kicking the shitholes inwards of my ops. Y'all know what the fuck it is. Yeah. Yeah, slap haters mad, I ain't stopping yet. Cause I started podcasting, I've been popping since. This slap chat line is on beyond the slap. But these fools think I slap news is all good, you know. I got my headphones on, my seat in a chair. Shout out to Rick Flynn, the nature boy in here. And when I speak and believe it's some good news, they think I got the seat, you should be like, oh. They trying to kick it with us, not as hard as me. They ain't kicking it as hard as me. Cause slap chat line kicks it hard as me. They ain't kicking it as hard as me. They ain't kicking it as hard as me. They ain't kicking it as hard as me. Cause slap chat line kicks it hard as me. They ain't kicking it as 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 hard as me.
What the fuck is going on, people? Welcome to Slap Chat Live. I am your host, Terry, coming to you live from the Las Vegas Strip. And I got a lot of topics to get into today. People, I will tell you, I do get messages sometimes, people telling me thank you for keeping it under 20 minutes. I do that mostly because upload limits on Instagram, but you're welcome. But today, I do not believe there's any chance of keeping this program under 20 minutes. So it will be a little bit longer. I do apologize, but it will be worth it. I got a lot of shit to talk about. The first one I want to get into, though, is Turpin. Of course, everybody's talking about the Turpin-Wes Mena match. Man, Turpin is... I think this is the end of Turpin. He didn't make it in lightweight. Again, this is my opinion. People may disagree with it. There is some Turpin fans out there. But I think Wes is going to go fucking bowling with this guy's head when he slaps him. I just don't see Turpin surviving this. Wes is a fucking beast. And that's my opinion. Turpin's out there talking shit about him eating salads and knocking motherfuckers out and stuff. It's not happening. Not in my opinion. But I did want to get into Wes Mena's friend, Chris Barnett. I did get an Iggy last week. People saying, hey, this guy's signed. He's going to be at this event. But I didn't release it because I can only get one person to verify that. So I didn't put that out. So that's why I didn't release it. To that person that came to me with that, I apologize for not getting the story out, but I couldn't get a second person to verify it. And unless I get at least two people, I don't release information, any Iggies, for many reasons. One, so they don't know who my source is. You could be the only one that was told that. And I don't want people to know right away that, who came to me with that information. So that's the reason why I didn't release the information on Wes Mena's friend, Chris Barnett. I believe is his last name. But I do want to welcome him to the slap fight, sport community, and I wish him luck in his debut match. Some big stuff coming to this sport, including a possible revival of something slap fight related from the early days. And I will tell you this, it was very humorous, if you will, to give you guys a hint, but there is a possible revival of something slap fight related coming very, very soon. That was from the early slap fight days. I'm super excited about that. As well as something that's going to be a different type of format when it comes to coverage of the sport. Again, I don't want to say too much, but I see this new platform that's coming out as possibly the future that this goes. I seen today, I got to watch a stripped down version of it, and I'm 12 minutes in. I was in tears laughing. It was comical, to say the least. I can't wait till this comes out. I have not done my part in it yet. I have agreed to a collab to a small part. I haven't done my part to it yet. I'm going to possibly do it tomorrow. I'm not sure this week, but guys, look forward to a few new things coming in the slap fight world, and that includes coverage of this sport. Now, some people have asked me, will I be interviewing Cole Young before his match? I reached out to Cole Young. Cole Young is a very good dude, man. Do not get me wrong. I like Cole as a guy. He's great. He represents the sport very, very well. But Cole Young is very, very religious. He's found religion in his his life recently, and congratulations to him, especially if that really works for him and becoming a better man. But this platform is very uncensored, if you will, and I respected him. I told him he's welcome to come on here, but I didn't want to put him on the spot. So as of right now, Cole Young is welcome to do an interview on this podcast anytime he wants. And just because of his lifestyles and preferences and stuff, right now he's declined, if you will, to take that option. And again, I love Cole Young. It's nothing personal, things like that. It's just I don't want to offend him with some of my content. Last time he was on here, I put something out that was kind of offensive to him, and I definitely don't want to offend him. He's a great guy. Moving on to the Slappy Awards. I know there's a few people watching waiting to find out what I got to say about the Slappies. Few people are going to be nominated this year that's going to shock a few of you guys. I'm going to name him right now. That's Frank, head honcho over at Power Slap, for those that don't know. Nut, who's one of my hikers in coverage of the sport. Nothing personal. It's just a competitive thing. Has been nominated. The Crazy Hawaiian has been nominated, actually, for two things. And Anthony DeFrank. Now, I want to cover DeFrank first. It's funny because last year, one of the people that was up for the Bitch of the Year award was Cooper Housley. And he didn't win, but this year he bitched all year about not winning that Bitch Award. The Bitch Award being those that complain or have a reason to be called bitch by many peers. He didn't win it last year, and he bitched, so he was up for the Bitch Award for this year until Anthony DeFake pulled his stunt and walked away. So Cooper, sadly, you will not be winning the Bitch Award this year because I don't see anybody being a bigger bitch in this sport than what Anthony DeFake has done for the sport at his last appearance. But moving on to a few other people, three of these guys actually fall in the same category. Now, I'm pretty rough on people when they fuck up in the sport, in my opinion, when they make mistakes and do stupid shit that doesn't represent the sport well. And I've went after three of these guys really hard the past year, and that being Frank, Nutsack, and Crazy. So this year, those three have been nominated for a humiliation award for mistakes and fuck-ups that they've done. So it's going to be a rough decision to see which one of these guys get the humiliation fuck-up award. But those three have been nominated for that. And also something else that's going to shock everybody, and this wasn't by me, but again, I'm not the only person when it comes to Slappy Awards, just to keep it fair and open-minded. There is other people that are on the board. And Crazy Hawaiian, to my knowledge, I do not believe he's on the October 9th card. But if the Crazy Hawaiian remains on the roster without being suspended up until October 14th of this year, the Crazy Hawaiian is actually nominated to be in the GOAT Pen, the Hall of Fame. Again, I don't make these decisions. It's done by a board, but the Crazy Hawaiian has been nominated to be in the GOAT Pen this year in replacement of Zals, who was taken out. Zals was actually going to make it this year, but his last performance didn't do it. So as of right now, if Crazy Hawaiian does not get suspended or get popped in a drug test before October 14th, he will be inducted in this year's Hall of Fame, the GOAT Pen. But speaking of the Crazy Hawaiian, I'm going to jump into this next thing. A lot of people are waiting to hear this. A huge announcement. And I've been talking about it for a week. We are relocating in 2027. When we moved to Vegas, we moved here, of course, as soon as I found out Ron was covering the sport. Moved out here for that. And, of course, my girlfriend and daughter's training over at Extreme Couture. So there was two reasons to move here. But with Ron retiring and stuff, we had already planned. It was down to three places. It was down to Arizona, Washington, or Missouri. And long story short, we are moving to Springfield, Missouri to keep an eye on the Crazy Hawaiian. We are going to be moving in the south part of Springfield, Missouri. I'm super excited. It has everything that we're kind of looking for and doesn't have the heat. So there you have the big announcement. Next year in 2027, Springfield, Missouri, we are relocating there. We will be covering the sport still, and it will be after the Slappy Awards, which does take place here in Las Vegas this year. Now, moving on to Power Slap 23 in Texas. I had a fan reach out and ask me a very specific question about Patricia Blackburn, Patty Blackburn. Patty, please don't be offended by this, but this was a legit question. A fan wants to know if you will have your arm around Jack Hager or Hayden Johnson at this event. People, for those that are unfamiliar with what I'm talking about, Patty was seen by people in the sport at one event with her arm around Hayden Johnson, and the last event, of course, with Jake Hager, whatever his name is. I don't know the situation. That was a legit question, but it moves me into the women in the sport who are on social media using this sport to beg for men. There's a few people out there, and I'm going to name two. I don't mean to offend you, but they have been pointed out many, many times, these two people in particular, by people, fans, fighters, just people in the sport, involved with the sport in general. And I'm talking about Patricia Blackburn and Jackie Thomas. Again, I don't want to offend you, but I will keep it 100 when shit's brought to my attention. Some of these women are using the platform to beg for men. They're out here saying, "Oh, I can't find Mr. Right. Why can't I find Mr. Right? Mr. Right, I'm looking for this." Here's the thing. If you're on their social media begging for Mr. Right, I promise you will not fucking find him. I promise you. And if you're using the sports image for that, I can't tell you how bad and ridiculous it looks. And as a man, I could tell you this. Most men would be unattracted and turned off by it. And the only ones that would be turned on and message you and hit you up when you're putting out those kind of pleas for Mr. Right won't be Mr. Right. I can promise you that. But I'm going to move on. But Patty, again, this wasn't meant to offend you. I do have the email. Of course, I'll never reveal my source. But I do have the email, and that was a legit question from a fan of yours that wanted to know who you would have your arm around at Power Slap 23. Would it be Hayden Johnson or Jack Hager? Johnny Magna, I love you, bro. You didn't do too well against Wes Mena. You last out, and that's not surprising. Wes is fucking monster, as I mentioned earlier. But I did message you the other day, and I told you that if you lose to this Hager, or whatever his name is, if you lose to him, I would mock you for the rest of your slap career. And that's no joke. You got to make a statement out there, brother Magna. I believe in you. I love you as a fan. So I'm saying if you lose your match against Swagger, I will mock you for the rest of your Power Slap career, and I'm putting that out publicly. There is somebody new out there who, I'm sorry, again, this will take a little bit of time. I'm trying to actually speed through it, and I'm doing pretty well. Jay Bougie. If you're watching this, Jay Bougie, I haven't even jumped over here in the chat to see who's all there, but Jay Bougie, very entertaining guy. I've been asked, hey, why don't I do interviews with the new guys and stuff? Well, long story short, about a year ago, people tried to cancel this platform, and I wanted to show them that I didn't need a single person to cover this sport, and that backfired. That like power slap in the face with my pickle, if you will. They were hoping to run me off by all their fighters not coming to me. And in fact, I had better coverage and more views, and this platform grew on that. So that really backfired in their face. But along the way, my first year and a half, 2 years covering the sport, I did interview everybody, but I just don't have the time to cover. There's like, between all the promotions, there's probably close to 500 people that I would have to cover. And I just can't get everybody. But Jay Bougie is really standing out entertainment-wise. And I will say this guy's got my attention. I love what he's doing, out there on social media, promoting. But he hasn't taken a slap to my knowledge. And if he hasn't taken a slap from anybody legit. But he's got a tough match against Hayden Johnson coming up. And I will say this. If he survives that match, and I'm pulling for you, Jay Bougie, I really am. I'd love to see you do good. If you survive that match, I would love to have Jay Bougie come on this platform and do an interview. I think the guy's entertaining. But he hasn't really proven to me yet. And, my schedule being so busy, I want to make sure, he's going to be around for a long time. He's not a one and done kind of thing. So don't take that personal, Jay Bougie. Again, I'd love to have you on this platform. And if you get that win, I definitely will be sending that invite very soon. Now, this next one is going to get pretty deep. I messaged Ron this morning, very briefly. I let him know, hey, I'm going to be dropping some information about you today, Ron, that you did not know. With Ron's retirement coming up, of course, September 17th in Texas. If you don't have your tickets, again, you can get that information, the link's right on my page. Get your tickets, be sure to be out there. But Wolverine will be doing his last match in Texas. So I reached out to him this morning. I said, hey, I got an Iggy about you I've held on to for a while. I've known it for a while, but I want to let you know something. And I don't want to say too much so I don't reveal the source, but I want to be very specific in how I cover this. So I told him, You weren't the original choice for Power Slap. There was 3 people that Power Slap wanted, and you weren't on that list, Ron. You weren't. But there was somebody who really believed in you. And I won't say that person's name, just to be clear, if that person is watching, don't panic. I'm not going to release the information. But I said somebody believed in you, and they fought for you to go to Power Slap. The original choices that they wanted, for those that don't know, and this isn't Iggy and inside info, and this is according to people at the top of Power Slap that were there from the beginning. But the original choices that they wanted to bring to Power Slap were all heavyweights. It was Darius the Destroyer, Frank the Tank, and there was another guy back then around the same time, early days of Slap Fight Championship, known as the Hulk. And they wanted the Hulk originally. They were more interested in the Hulk, according to my source, and it was verified, it was backed up. But according to the original source that came to me and gave me this stuff, they wanted the Hulk instead of Wolverine. But somebody spoke up and said, no, Wolverine's the guy you want. This is the guy of the future. So they almost made a mistake in Power Slap that would have changed how this sport is today. They would have had different champions. There probably wouldn't have been anybody but DeBell, who's held on to a belt that long. Of course, Robert, too, but Robert hasn't, competed as much. But originally, this was the guy that was supposed to be there. Of course, people were saying, okay, but what about DeBell? He was there. DeBell was not 21 at the time, and that's a whole nother story I'm not going to get into. But the original 3 that they wanted, and I informed Ron of this morning, I said the original 3 that they wanted was the Hulk, Darius, and Frank the Tank. So there's an inside Iggy that a lot of people don't know about this sport. So the fact that Ron is making a retirement as the top dog made a statement that the person that believed in him made a good choice in making a statement saying, yo, you want this guy. This is the guy you want in Power Slap. There's the Iggy on that. Let me jump back over here to my notes. And let's see. Next one. I've been asked, been seeing comments about Jajar, I believe is his name. If I'm mispronouncing it, it's not intended to, to make fun of you, mock you, or anything. But Jajar, or whatever his name is, people have asked, will he have to shave his beard? Or will they make an exception for his religious or cultural backgrounds? I predicted that they would not book this guy until after Ron's next match, after they started enforcing the beard rule. I had already predicted that a few months back, and I'm not trying to beat a dead horse with the beard thing, but I was informed about 30 minutes going into this prior to this show going live, I was informed that they are in fact going to enforce the beard rule. So that remains to be seen, but I will say this. I think that if they screw Ron and have him shave his beard and then turn around and make an exception for this guy, I think that would be the fucking dirtiest thing you could do to somebody in this sport. And if they do make an exception for religious rules, my advice to Ron, and I hope I don't offend anybody religious, but I advise Ron, if they advise you because it was religious or cultural reasons, turn around and tell them you're satanic because they don't follow the herd. There you go, and that would be a protected religious region, protected religion. But that remains to be seen. Again, Ron, if he's got to shave his beard, Ron said he will do it. I believe there's some conversations with Logan and stuff. I'm not going to get into that. But I do want to see if this guy has to shave his beard and if they're going to enforce it for him. Last thing I'm going to get into, and actually that is it. Next week, I do not know if I will be doing a live show or not. It's up in the air right now. With Ron retiring, I'm trying to put together some kind of video tribute to him, if you will. So I can't promise I will do something live next week. It could be a last-minute thing. If not, I will see you in 2 weeks, and I will drop something during the week to keep you guys posted on Inside Iggy's that I get. With that said, I am going to bounce. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you ain't following this platform, you need to be. We platform is kicking ass in this niche. And if you like this video, be sure to click the fucking finger bang button down there. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Have a kick-ass weekend.